Just want to do a quick overview of the updates to SM color curves and introduce some people to some of the tools that maybe they didn't realize was there, or maybe new people who haven't used it yet. So the first thing is that it now will remember your settings, so you don't have to sit there and re-click that every time. I tend to keep it on wireframe, joints, and shape. Shape is a new addition, so that way, by default, I always go to the shape node. But there's cases when you don't want to do that, so I have that as an option there. For people who are unfamiliar, it's just a quick way to colorize your control curves. I did add a new color there, that dark one. You can also colorize your items in the outliner over here. Incidentally, you can also, whatever you have selected, you can actually right-click now and get a marking menu. So you can say, you know what, do joints, wires, and outliners, or just do the outliner, or just do the joints. I've started using that much more than even bothering with the options up top. So I can say, you know what, just do the outliner. Now that we all have the outliner, I don't like that color, so let's do this color. Cool, looks great to me. Let's grab these guys and make them all yellow wires, and they're all yellow wires. Some of the other options you have is I can select all these guys and do auto, and what that's going to do is do it based on their, let's do wireframe so I can see it. Based on where they are in X, usually I use this for characters, so anything on the right side is going to be red, anything on the character's left side is going to be blue, anything center is going to be yellow. Next to that is a sub, which basically means it'll use a sub color. So if I take these guys and let's just, for the sake of being able to see them, I'll select the other ones and do auto so you can see the difference in colors there. So if you have a sub control. Next to that I have side and side sub. Now that's a little bit different and newer, and the reason for that is because sometimes your objects aren't necessarily in the right space for that to work. So if I just do like right, blah 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 on this, I'll just do another one, and on this one I'll just do R hand control, and I'll do another one. And, oops, did I do? Yeah, there it is. And I'll change that R to an L. I'm going to select these guys. And I have a list if it's like lowercase, underscore, uppercase, underscore, right, left, RT, RLL, LF, things like that. And the side is going to use the names. So I can also do a side sub, and it's going to do the sub names. Now, incidentally, if I don't have a side name on there and I run it, it will turn it yellow because it thinks it's the center. I may change that down the line, but right now that's how I'm using it. I tend not to have a prefix for center, or maybe I should. Okay, so next to that is you do have off, and off is different than default. So what off will do is it'll actually keep those information in there. So if I go in here again, say on, it'll bring those colors back. If I go in here and say default, what it's actually going to do is reset everything back to default. It gets rid of all the colors and things like that. So if I go back here and turn that on, it's still going to be the same thing because it doesn't, there's no information there anymore. What do we have next to that? Match. Match is pretty straightforward. Whatever you select last, if you say match, it's going to match the colors to everything. Thick and thin. Actually, I'll just select all these, go thicker. So you can make them thicker. Here, and let's select the inner ones and make them thinner, or you can select them and just hit default. Let's come back to default. If I grab the next one, 150 is going to make it bigger, 50 is going to make it smaller, so it's just a way to quickly scale your controls. After that, I have something I use a lot for animation is I create what's called an all keyable set for my rigs. So that just makes a quick set that makes it easy to be able to select all your objects that are keyable. Incidentally, if I just select the set and hit S, it's actually going to key everything in there. Also, you can do Control H, which is, Control H will hide them, Shift H will bring them back. Sets just work that way in Maya, but this is just a quick way to do it. All keyable is just something that I use. Next to that, actually, let's get rid of the keys real quick. Come here. Delete. Cool. Next to that, RC, which is actually going to rename the children. This is something that Maya can sometimes screw up. So what I like to do is make sure that I rename my children to match my transform to help prevent clashing node names and to make sure names make sense. Next to that is visibility. So what this is actually going to do is quickly just hide the viz channel on my object. And actually, if you right click on that, you can hide the scale, rotate, and translate. So often I'll get rid of the scale as well. And then the last thing is just tagging. So tagging is Maya's way of tagging things as a controller. And they just make a quick way to show and hide things. So if I go here and just hide everything in my scene, and I hit my animation preset, this is another tool that I'm going to release sometime soon. One of the things I have on here is controllers. So if I turn controllers off, it's going to hide everything that's been marked as a controller. Now the thing that's cool about controllers, you can do advanced pick walking and stuff like that. That's really nice. But it's also a really nice way to show and hide just the controllers. So if you have a rig where all the controls are set as controllers, you can just really hide and show those, and it won't mess with your other curves in your scene, which is kind of nice. Rather than just hiding curves, you're hiding just the controllers, which is nice. Incidentally, these tools, work on cubes. They also work on locators. I think I have to have shape off for that, but I'll fix that. There we go. Yep. They don't have a color name yet. And then we'll work for joints. Now for joints, it's a little bit different because joints have to be indexed colors. So what it's going to do is find a color that's close by. Often what I'll do is just hit ramp. Whoops, I gotta select all. Hit ramp. It'll just ramp those colors for me, just loop through them. Also with ramp, let's just select a bunch of things. Make sure you do left to right. If I run the ramp, what it's going to do, actually I'll do it on here. Ramp it, so you can see that it goes from orange to blue. You have a couple other options on there, like yellow to red. If I ramp that, you also, have purple to whatever that is, which can be handy. And this will also work in your objects in your outliner as well. So if I turn on the outliner and do a ramp on those, you'll see those ramped colors over here. Incidentally, if I want a unique color that's not in one of these auto colors right here, you can double click on here and just pick a color that you like. I know, green, right? And get that green color. It's based on if it was last changed, so if you want to match that color, you can do it like that. What else do I have in here of interest? Under the default, I do have this option here. So you can say set just the outliner, set just the wireframe, or set just the joint colors back to default. Matching for wireframe or outliner only, otherwise it'll match both. I think that's probably it. So I will release that sometime soon. Just want to work out a couple other little possible kinks. If you've already purchased it, you will just get the update for free. I feel like if you buy a tool, you get the tool. Let's do dark blue to cyan. Sure, I'll ramp that. All right, so if you have any questions or options or things that you want to add, or if something's not working, definitely hit me up because I would love to fix that. All right, so I hope that helps.